The movie begins at the bottom of the sea, where we see SpongeBob singing a welcoming song about Bikini Bottom, a peaceful and fun city to live in. But this movie isn't focused on SpongeBob. It's all about Plankton. The movie I'm recapping is Plankton the movie. Plankton tells us that ever since he was a little boy, he's always dreamed of taking over the world. After 25 years of trial and error, he's finally come up with a world domination plan called Operation Success. His plan involves stealing the secret formula of the famous Krabby Patty, taking over the Krusty Krab from Mr. Krabs, and using the restaurant to take over Bikini Bottom, and eventually the world. Without wasting any time, Plankton puts on his mask for the heist and uses his telescope to spy on the Krusty Krab. He notices that everyone has left, so he begins searching for his computer wife, Karen, to start the heist. But she's nowhere to be found. After searching through the town, he finally spots Karen hanging out with her girlfriends. They're sipping coffee, and Sandy asks Karen if she'd like to join them for a movie, but Karen declines, saying it's because Plankton needs her help with the Krabby Patty heist. Plankton arrives and scolds Karen for forgetting about the plan. Karen says goodbye to her friends and reluctantly agrees to help him steal the formula. Unbeknownst to Plankton, Mr. Krabs is still at the restaurant, having tricked Plankton into thinking he'd left. Mr. Krabs laughs maniacally and teaches SpongeBob the invasion of privacy, a technique for spying on enemies. At the restaurant, Plankton asks Karen to give him a lift so he can sneak inside. Karen is offended, thinking she's just being used as an elevator. Plankton sneaks in and is just about to break the lock when Mr. Krabs catches him and throws him out. Back at the chum bucket, Plankton is depressed to find his restaurant is full of customers eating chum. Karen explains that she found a new recipe for chum that actually tastes good and it's been attracting customers. Plankton, however, is still fixated on stealing the Krabby Patty formula and refuses to acknowledge her efforts. Karen suggests that after 255 years, maybe it's time for him to stop obsessing over the formula. Plankton gets upset and calls her his assistant, which angers Karen because she thought they were partners. She eventually snaps, transforming into a three-headed evil robot, Super Snarky Karen, Super Smart Karen, and Super Evil Karen, deciding to take over the world herself. She plans to destroy Plankton, but he escapes, and she focuses on completing her battle station. Karen starts taking over Bikini Bottom's homes, warning everyone to evacuate. Plankton and SpongeBob hide in the Mart building, and SpongeBob decides to help Plankton figure out why Karen is so angry. Plankton has forgotten everything about his past, so SpongeBob decides to psychoanalyze him. His goal? To find out what went wrong between Plankton and Karen, and maybe get them back together to save Bikini Bottom. Plankton agrees, but not for love. He wants to remember how he created Karen, so he can destroy her. SpongeBob hypnotizes him, and the memories start flooding back. When Plankton was a kid, all he ever wanted was to rule the world. Out of 12,000 siblings, he was the last born and the smartest. But nobody understood him. He felt alone. So he built a friend. A robot made from a potato and a calculator. He named her Karen. From that moment on, Plankton wasn't lonely. He and Karen did everything together. One day he decided to leave his family and go to college with Karen. They all laughed at him, but he left anyway, saying he'd major in world domination and come back to destroy them all. Back in the present, Plankton remembers. Karen's original brain, the calculator, is still at Bikini State University. SpongeBob takes him there, thinking it'll help him unlock more memories. Meanwhile, chaos reigns. Karen is dismantling Bikini Bottom, stealing homes to build a giant mech suit. Mr. Krabs rallies some troops and launches beers at her to disable her. It works, briefly, but she reboots and flies into her mech suit for round 2.
A few moments later,
Plankton and SpongeBob finally reach the university. It's where Karen was first upgraded. He's sure her old parts are still there. SpongeBob hypnotizes him again, and they dive deeper into the past. College was a disaster for Plankton. No world domination classes, constant failure in every subject except Karen. She was his only source of hope. So he upgraded her with 4 chips: Smart, Evil, Snarky, and Empathy. After the upgrade, he tossed her old parts aside, and together they perfected a freeze ray. When a roommate insulted Plankton and tried to squash him, Karen froze him solid. It was the start of a beautiful life of crime. SpongeBob is fascinated, But Plankton doesn't care. He just wants Karen's old parts. He finds them and heads to the chum bucket basement to build a new Karen to destroy the old one. Inside the basement, SpongeBob sees all of Plankton's past inventions. It's a trip down memory lane. He hypnotizes Plankton again to understand what happened between him and Karen after college. After graduation, their freeze ray was ready for world domination. But the surface world was way too big. Even kids were giants. Their freeze ray was useless. A child flicked them back into the ocean. Plankton felt like a failure. Karen comforted him and fed him a Krabby Patty. At the restaurant, they overheard Mr. Krabs say that thanks to his secret formula, he would take over the world. That gave Plankton an idea. Steal the formula. Rule the world. Karen laughed. It was the dumbest plan she'd ever heard. Still, Plankton built the chum bucket and made stealing the formula his obsession. That obsession is what drove Karen away. Now, in the present, Plankton builds a new Karen from her old parts and sends her to destroy the real Karen. SpongeBob is furious. He thought they were trying to fix things, not make war. Karen defeats new Karen and uses her body parts to power up. Bikini Bottom is in ruins. SpongeBob, heartbroken, tells Plankton that this is all his fault. He lied. He was never trying to get Karen back. SpongeBob storms off, calling him a pitiful, pathetic jerk. Karen finds Plankton, who blindfolds himself and accepts his fate. But just as she's about to obliterate him, SpongeBob and friends return and rescue him in a boat. Karen lets him go. Living with failure, she says, is worse than death. The team retreats to Sandy's underground bunker, a hidden paradise run by the girl pals. They interrogate Plankton. What did you do to Karen? To answer, Plankton hypnotizes himself one last time. He remembers their restaurant Chum and how he proposed to her. She said yes, but after a huge fight that night, Karen removed her empathy chip. That's what made her heartless. Plankton still has the chip and thinks reinserting it will fix everything. But Sandy says no, that's not love. If he truly cares, he should apologize. But Plankton can't. The word sorry is alien to him. So they implant the empathy chip into Plankton. Now, apology is possible. With SpongeBob and the girl pals, they infiltrate Karen's battle station, ℬ𝔬𝔤𝔠𝔩𝔞, which, surprise, is powered by potatoes. Apparently, potatoes are stronger than nuclear reactors. Karen detects the intrusion and spawns multiple versions of herself to fight off the invaders. SpongeBob and Plankton sneak through, while Sandy and the others battle the Karen army. Inside, they find Patrick, who's been trapped this whole time, and eating snacks as usual. Plankton finally reaches Karen. He apologizes. She tells him it's too late and gives him the Krabby Patty secret formula. But he tosses it aside. He says, "You're my real secret formula." Karen tears up. They kiss. Together again, they launch their mech to the surface, ready to take over the world as evil soulmates. And then, the power shuts down.
800 kajillion potatoes later.
Patrick ate all the potatoes. Their plan for world domination fails, but their love is stronger than ever. Bikini Bottom is saved, Karen and Plankton are back together, and peace is restored.